This question is also about the reaction of nitrogen with hydrogen to form ammonia. This says that 80 grams of hydrogen gas reacts with nitrogen gas to form ammonia. And we have to find, first of all, the number of moles of hydrogen gas. So we need to convert 80 grams into moles. How many moles of hydrogen gas is the same thing as 80 grams of hydrogen gas, H2. So our conversion factor must have moles of hydrogen gas at the top and grams of hydrogen gas at the bottom. Notice this has nothing to do with this reaction, because it's not how much of one substance reacts to form a different substance. It's just a conversion between mass and moles. And so this conversion factor we get from the periodic table, and it refers to 1 mole of H2. Both top and bottom must refer to 1 mole of H2. 1 mole of H2 has a mass of 2 grams. Go look on the periodic table to confirm that. Therefore, 80 grams of hydrogen must be 40 moles. 80 divided by 2, 40. Notice grams cancel. We're left with moles of hydrogen molecules, H2. Now we asked the volume of nitrogen gas used if we have STP. So our question is, how many decimeters cubed of nitrogen gas is used if we have 80 grams of hydrogen gas? Or you can use the number of moles, which we've just calculated, being 40 moles. So it really doesn't matter. Let's do it first with 40 moles and then with 80 grams, and you'll see we get the same answer in both cases. What's the volume? How many decimeter cubed of nitrogen do you need to react fully with 40 moles of hydrogen, which is 80 grams of hydrogen gas? So how do we find that out? We need a conversion factor, but this conversion factor comes from the ratios in which they react, these substances react for this particular reaction. So we need the balanced equation to be able to work out the relevant ratios. Nitrogen plus hydrogen gives ammonia. This is the balanced equation. You will not get it right unless you use the balanced equation. The reaction ratio is 1 mole of nitrogen for every 3 moles of hydrogen to produce 2 moles of ammonia gas. So to solve this, we need to multiply this 14 moles of hydrogen by a unit factor, a conversion factor, which comes from the ratio in which the substances react. But this ratio must be in a format that's useful for answering this question, which means it needs to be a ratio with mole hydrogen and decimeter cubed nitrogen. So at the moment, yes, we do have mole hydrogen, but we don't yet have decimeter cubed nitrogen in our ratio. So to get that, we need to ask ourselves, 1 mole of nitrogen, how many decimeter cubed is that? And we can only answer that if we know the pressure and the temperature, but fortunately we're given that. It's STP, and for STP, 1 mole of any gas occupies 22.4 decimeter cubed. And the ratio in which nitrogen reacts with hydrogen in this equation is 1 mole nitrogen for every 3 moles hydrogen. So it's 22.4 decimeter cubed nitrogen for every 3 moles of hydrogen. Moles hydrogen cancels, and we're left with decimeter cubed nitrogen. 40 times 22.4 divided by 3, we round that off, it gives us 298.67 decimeter cubed of nitrogen. So now let's do it another method as well, just for interest. And this time we're going to use these 80 grams of hydrogen that we were given, rather than the 40 moles which we calculated are the same as 80 grams of hydrogen gas. Our question is still, what is the volume of nitrogen gas? So we're still asking how many decimeter cubed of nitrogen, but now we're wording our question a little differently. How many decimeter cubed of nitrogen reacts with 80 grams of hydrogen? So we need to multiply this question written here by a conversion factor. And this conversion factor must come from the ratio in which nitrogen and hydrogen react in this particular reaction. But the ratio must be in a useful form. In other words, it has to involve grams of hydrogen to cancel away that, and decimeter cubed of nitrogen. At the moment, we only have a molar reaction ratio, so we don't have decimeter cubed nitrogen or grams hydrogen in our ratio. So we need to convert this mole reacting ratio into a volume mass reacting ratio. We ask ourselves, how many decimeters cubed is the same as 1 mole of nitrogen at STP? And we know the answer is 22,4. And we ask ourselves, 3 moles, how many grams, because we need grams hydrogen. 3 moles of hydrogen gas, H2, how many grams? And we know that's 3 times 2, because each mole of hydrogen molecules has a mass of 2 grams, and there are 3 moles like that. So it's 6 grams, 3 times 2 is 6, of course, of hydrogen reacts with every 22,4 decimeter cubed of nitrogen. 80 multiplied by 22.4 divided by 6 is equal to the same answer as what we got before. 298,6, we round off 7 decimeter cubed of nitrogen. So we can use either method, it gives the same answer.